Welcome back to A Celtic State of Mind. I'm Paul John Dykes. It's half time, and I'm joined by Kevin McCluskey and also Paddy Sinnott. Welcome back, Paddy. How are you keeping, pal?
Aye, all good, all good. Just really busy at home now, so unfortunately can't be on as much as I want to be. But hey, it's good to be back on again.
It's good to be back, and Big John will be with us as well, all the way from Newry. John Hughes will be zooming in and dialing in just in a few moments. We're here to talk, obviously, about that first half performance. And when Kevin appeared on my screen before we went live, he was like sitting with his hands in his head, shaking his head, going on about the virtues of Scottish football and the lack of quality. Kev, what's your thoughts on that? What's your thoughts on that? Because I think if I look at Motherwell, right, obviously since Stuart Kettlewell's came in, I think what he's done is he's really just kind of like tightened everything up. He's played to their strengths. It just so happens that their strengths are often deemed kind of anti-football. You know, they basically crowd you out, right? And they're doing that. They play the big long ball up to Van Veen. He wins headers, and they try and feed off the scraps, right? But I mean, we're Celtic. We don't play like that. However, these teams, if they try and play vast, expansive football at a park like Celtic Park, we'll just eat them alive. We'll just tear them to pieces, won't we?
Yeah, I mean, I see the argument from both points of view on this one. But I'm watching this game and I want to be entertained. And there's only one team that's got any intent to go out and attack and play football and try and win the game, and that's Celtic. And of course you expect that, right? I don't expect Motherwell to come and try and play total football and take the game to us and be really open, because if they do, we'll absolutely batter them because we've got the quality in our squad that we can do it. But at the same time, and I think this is the point that Brian makes on like a weekly basis, there's no ambition there at all. And to me, it's unacceptable. And if you were a Motherwell fan, would you want to pay your 30 quid to go and watch that? Like, they sit back. I get that that's kind of what they have to do, and I will appreciate the fact that they're doing it well, because they've got 10 men behind the ball at all times, basically. They're blocking the space. They're making it really difficult for us to play. And as a game plan, I suppose it's working to a degree. But Motherwell have got nothing to play for this afternoon. They can't get into the top six. A defeat today doesn't really drag them down in any relegation battle. It's not 3 points that they're expected to win. So I don't know why they can't come out and have a little bit more of a go, because they've got in Van Veen a guy that's got 19 or 20 goals this season.
Yeah.
They've got a goal threat up front. Why not try and use him a little bit more?
I mean, I think what we've seen last week, Paddy, is we've seen a team that was dismantled with a Celtic side who played with so much flair that after 27 minutes, there were some comments coming in on our live stream saying, this is going to be 10 today. I mean, we've seen us doing it to Dundee United. We've seen us doing it to Hibs at Celtic Park earlier in the season, 6-1. Absolutely destroyed teams this season. So, yeah, is it entertaining? No, it's not. Absolutely not entertaining. But Motherwell know they don't have, the type of player that can go toe-to-toe with Iwata, for example, who, by the way, has been outstanding in that first half. And they really are hoping for a long ball, Van Veen winning a header, maybe getting a break, maybe getting a free kick at the edge of the box. But if they don't do that, the alternative is that Celtic could really, just tear strips off them.
Right, exactly. I mean, I think, to be fair to teams like Motherwell that come to Celtic Park, it's not really their job to entertain us, is it? It's their job's there. It's damage limitation, and we see it every second week at Parkhead. So it's not really surprising that they've came with that kind of game plan and that style. But it is surprising, though, somebody's not been booked yet. I don't think anybody for that Motherwell side has been booked yet. The amount of persistent fouling that's been going on is... Yeah. It's been ridiculous, and the fact that the cards have been kept in the pocket is just as bad. But other than that, like you say, Iwata he's been great. I think Johnston and Haksabanovic have done well, doing that right flank as well. Haksabanovic has got a lot of the ball, but he's just no get the. I don't know. He just doesn't seem to be able to get that wee breakthrough in the final third. But overall, it's not been the best game to watch, but. I think hopefully we'll see something better in the second half.
Yeah, we have created chances. We'll talk about the goal. We'll talk about some of the chances that we've created, and hopefully that black screen that keeps appearing on the screen. Hopefully, we will reveal who the special guest is going to be. Who do you think it is? Who knows? But hopefully, we will be able to see Big John Hughes at some point at halftime, if not at full time. But you mentioned Haksabanovic after last week's game, Kev. You know that one of the discussion points during the week was, you know, how well Kobayashi and Iwata had played. Not so much Haksabanovic, but with the caveat that he was playing on the right-hand side. It's a different performance we've seen from him. And I think one of the moments of the game that I want to point out is the chance that he created for Maeda. But if you go back a minute or two, he's lost the ball. And I was quite frustrated at that. I thought to myself, we're going to have another, but he didn't give up. He chased back. He lost a challenge. He got the second challenge. So he didn't give up on 2 occasions. He managed to win the ball back, and he flighted a brilliant pass up to Maeda. So he looks as though he's got that determination that you're going to need if you're going to break into Angie's side as well, Kev.
Yeah, so now I've got my Motherwell rant out the way and I'm no longer angry old man shouting at a cloud. I'll try and bring a bit of positivity back into things then. Haksabanovic, that exact 2 moments that you've spoken about, I've got a note here, which is he's trying too hard and he's not going to make it today. And then the next note is great cross in from Haksabanovic, Maeda, close to the goal. And I think that kind of sums him up when he's on the right, because I don't think that's his natural place for us. I think we've spoken before, I think he's the inside left, where he's a number 10, and putting him on the right just limits his creative input and impact in a game. But what you're getting from him when it's not working is you're getting effort every single time. Mm-hmm. And I think that's probably what Paddy was saying there. You know, his performance today has been pretty decent, because every time he's got the ball, he's tried to make something happen. It hasn't always come off, but he's tried. If it hasn't worked, he's battling to win it back, and I like that about him. You know, he's got that fight. He's not, again, angry old man shouting at cloud type of thing here. He's got all those tattoos, and you just think he's a boy that thinks he's a player, and he's not going to have fight about him in the dig, but he does. So he's when he loses it, he's all about it, trying to win it back, and he's a real good team player. I'd like to see him play more on the left though, because I think that's where he's going to impact the game more. But for effort in that first half, you've got to give him pass marks.
We'll try and bring John in as well, see if we're able to bring him into the live stream. But in the meantime, Paddy, tattooed sleeves, I mean, that's just part and parcel of the modern game. Kevin is sounding like a bit of an old man, isn't he?
Man, I don't know what's happening today. Right?
I know.
This is the Motherwell effect. They've done me in.
The Motherwell effect. Well, the thing that I like is, I remember when Ange came in and we spoke to several people who knew Ange well as a manager, not personally, but they knew Ange, the manager. And what we were getting from a lot of these people is that he likes his wingers to be defensive. He wants them to have defensive qualities. And I think that this season, we've seen a lot more of that from Jota. Yeah. You know, that's an element of the game that I don't think it's natural to Jota. I think that, you know, it's something he's had to work at. I think it's a very natural part of Maeda's game. And today, I think what we've seen is Haksabanovic, when things, maybe the tricks and the dribbles aren't going to be coming off, then he's reverting back to the tried and tested, which is just work hard, win the ball back, and start another attack, Paddy. It's been really good to see from Haksabanovic.
Aye, definitely. And I think this is when it was his last start. Who was it he started against the last time? It didn't really impress much. Was it Hearts, I think, at Tynecastle?
Hearts in the Cup.
Aye. So I think he needed that performance today, didn't he? He needs to go out there and show that if Jota's not available, or if one of the wing positions become available, he's the man to step up. So he needs that performance today. He just needs a wee bit of quality in the final third, I think, just to make his performance complete. But I think for, like you were saying about Jota, I think that's been the biggest improvement in his game this season. Has been his tracking back. I think he's learned from looking at Maeda. The reason why Maeda gets picked so off is because he worked so hard for the team, and Jota's been excellent at that this season so far. So, yep, Haksabanovic, let's see a wee bit more of the same, just a wee bit more about quality in the final third for me.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully John will appear. It would be great if he appeared. Did anybody used to watch Red Dwarf? I'm just expecting to see him appear on the screen like Holly, which was the computer screen.
Tell me to take his thumb off his camera if you can see it.
We can hear you, John. We can hear you. We just can't see you. What did you make of that first half? Or maybe we can't. I thought I could hear him. I thought I could hear him laughing there.
I could hear the laugh there.
Yeah, I definitely thought I could hear him. In the meantime, we will talk to the three that are here and also everybody in the comment section. David Stalker, we want more goals, and spoke of that. Right, he definitely did speak of it, but I think we have created enough chances. There was one, however, that Tom Boyd actually called it Chris Julien's post. It's almost like we need to get one of the green plaques on that post. This is the post that ended Julien's Celtic career. And there was a wee worry there, Kevin, when Maeda collided with a post as well.
Yeah, there was. I had again, you saw me with my head in my hands just before. I had my head in my hands at that point as well. I was a wee bit worried. You're just thinking, with next week in mind, Maeda's one player you don't want to have any doubts over for his fitness.
Aye.
Also, if there was one player that was going to slide into that post, it was going to be Maeda, because that's just him through and through. I think he's that kind of committed way that if there's a ball in the box, he's going to go for it. But that looked a nasty one. Luckily, fortunately, he's got back up and he's played on and he seems to be fine.
Well,
again, that was a really good cross in from Johnston. Sorry, it was a really good ball in by Johnston.
Fantastic. It was a fantastic ball from Johnston. And I think that Johnston's been really at the heart of a lot of our attacking moves in the first half. But again, it goes back to a conversation, Paddy, we had before the game, Kevin, John and I, about, just at this point where you're looking at that bench, it's maybe not the strongest bench that we've had all season. And the last thing you want, is somebody like Maeda, pulling up or colliding with a post or something like that, because I'm not saying that we've got a threadbare squad, absolutely not, nothing of the sort, but we do have some pivotal players injured at the moment, and we're trying to avoid that, particularly with Rangers game next week.
Oh, definitely. I mean, Maeda's, if there's anybody there you don't want him to get injured, what he brings to the team is pretty much irreplaceable. What we're just saying, he's tracking back, his defensive work. He's just, the guy's phenomenal. He's made a steal though, so I think he'll be all right. I just think for next week, maybe, hopefully, Andrew. Oh, there he is, the big man there.
There he is. He's back.
I just restarted the computer. You know what I mean? Technical wizardry. Just reboot it.
You took your thumb off the camera, didn't you? Tell the truth.
I did hear you saying that, and I did laugh, and you did hear me laugh.
We did hear a laugh.
I missed most of that then. So, are we enjoying this or not?
Well, Kevin is
Absolutely loving it, John.
Kevin's not loving the kind of anti-football, but we're picking some of the positives. But we've not actually spoken about the goal, and we've not spoken about Iwata yet, John. So if you fancy waxing lyrical about Captain Courageous, who, by the way, I think a few minutes before he'd tried a drive, he'd driven forward, he'd grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck. Yeah. He'd done exactly that as well. But somebody playing that first half by Iwata, the guy is so comfortable on the ball, John.
Well, it was the fulcrum at one point, wasn't he? I mean, Callum was sort of out on the left and maybe sometimes a wee bit right, but Iwata was basically dominating the middle of the park. And whatever the faults may be today, and there are some in terms of, obviously for some reason, I don't know if Kyogo's wearing green and white or red and white, because it's like, where's Wally? You can't find him. Do you know what I mean? It's just they haven't been able to get the ball to him at all, and it's not Kyogo's been very quiet. He's got no service. Iwata has been, for me, absolutely tremendous. Callum's been absolutely tremendous. Matt O'Reilly's done well. The fault does not lie in the midfield. So I think I've been very impressed with Iwata again. A couple of passes going astray, but there's been a few passes going astray because we're forcing the play, and a lot of, instead of actually maybe being a bit more patient and creating the opportunity and are playing the early ball into space. We're very predictable. We're trying to do the same thing. It's going out to the wings fairly slowly, and we're trying to get crosses in that have been cut out. That's not working. We need to get some more basically the vertical balls through to Kyogo. So there's been some lovely, impressive bits of play, but at the same time, you can see why we're not working. And Haksabanovic, who I'm a massive fan of, you can see all the good and bad in that one half. He's tremendously skillful, got loads and loads of talent, but he can't run at the defence. He's not a threat to them, from that point of view. So he's trying to play off other people. He can't drive at them. I mean, Maeda immediately brings more pace into the attack on the other side. You know, when he's there, he's more dangerous. He gets behind them, and we need to be getting behind them. There's far too much play in front of their back four, so we need to be finding a way to get behind them. And it's not working going down the sides at the moment. So, you know, the fact that Kyogo has barely touched the ball, I think, you know, really speaks volumes.
Yeah. I think we've tried though to hit the ball over the back of the defenders a couple of times in the game though, but it's just not really come off into it.
But they weren't particularly good balls though. I mean, the last one, for instance, you know, they weren't. You know, there was two there like O'Reilly had, and you know, it wasn't a particularly good ball. But the early ball, I think, is something we're going to have to do. You know, I think we're going to have to try and, you know, maybe cut out the midfield a bit more and go early, you know, just for a bit of variety, because for all the fact we look very tidy, we look very nice, we look very skillful, we do not look very dangerous.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting as well with Starfelt with his hand. We've also had what looked like an injury to Haksabanovic. Obviously, he ran it off, and we've got Maeda colliding with the post. So hopefully, none of them are too serious. And you know, if they are, obviously, we'll see a few changes in the second half. John, that was a fleeting cameo appearance. So we will get you back in for full time. Celtic are 1-0 up. We're 15 points ahead at this moment in time, guys. So Kev, surely that's a bit positive for the old guy up the top there.
Absolutely. That
shaking your hand.
I can get on board with that. I'm a way to take Martin Bickett's advice. If you read one of his comments from back up, Martin, I'll take your advice for the second half, mate.
Kevin is going elsewhere for full time, so it will be myself, Paddy, and John at full time. Thanks everybody for getting involved. 600 strong again, and we'll see you at full time. Thanks for joining us on A Celtic State of Mind.